Hello, friends, and welcome back to another episode of the Juicebox Podcast.
My name is Lauren, and I have had type 1 diabetes since 2003. I have two kids, age 12 and 4. They do not have diabetes.
Please don't forget that nothing you hear on the Juicebox Podcast should be considered advice, medical or otherwise. Always consult a physician before making any changes to your healthcare plan or becoming bold with insulin. Don't forget to save 40% off of your entire order at CozyEarth.com. All you have to do is use the offer code JUICEBOX at checkout. That's JUICEBOX at checkout to save 40% at CozyEarth.com. Are you an adult living with type 1 or the caregiver of someone who is and a U.S. resident? If you are, I'd love it if you would go to t1dexchange.org/juicebox and take the survey. When you complete that survey, your answers are used to move type 1 diabetes research of all kinds. So if you'd like to help with type 1 research, but don't have time to go to a doctor or an investigation, and you want to do something right there from your sofa, this is the way. t1dexchange.org/juicebox. It should not take you more than about 10 minutes. This episode of the Juicebox Podcast is sponsored by the Omnipod 5. Learn more and get started today at omnipod.com/juicebox. Check it out. The episode you're about to enjoy was brought to you by Dexcom. The Dexcom G7, the same CGM that my daughter wears. You can learn more and get started today at my link, dexcom.com/juicebox. Today's episode of the Juicebox Podcast is sponsored by the drink I use every morning, AG1. Drink AG1.com/juicebox.
My name is Lauren, and I have had type 1 diabetes since 2003. I have two kids, age 12 and 4. They do not have diabetes. I'm married, and yeah, that's
Lauren,
about it.
I have a question right away.
Okay.
You have two kids with two different men?
Yes, I do.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Because 8 years, there's only one reason to have a baby after having the first one in 8 years. And that is exactly that reason, because everyone else would be like, it's okay.
Right. Yeah. No, I didn't. I totally forgot. Yeah. There's 8 years between them. Okay. I had my son at 21, and yes.
Okay.
I was not married before. So the person I'm married to now, this is my daughter. That is our child.
I honestly don't care about what you do is up to you. I'm just like, there was no way that you had a baby, paid for it, and took care of it for 8 years, and then thought, we should do another baby. Yeah.
Yeah. No, for sure. I mean, my 20s were interesting. Yeah. I had a baby. So
How old were you when you were diagnosed?
I was 13.
Okay. 13 years old. I know there's a little type 1 in your family, but it's recent. Is there any other type 1 besides your brother being recently diagnosed? Does anybody else have it?
Yes, my grandfather had it.
Okay. Grandfather.
Yeah.
And your brother, how long ago diagnosed?
Last October, I would say, with the actual diagnosis. Leading up to it was a little rocky, just with our healthcare system here.
You called Canada and said, I think I'm sick. And they were like, get in line and come in 9 months.
Yeah.
Is that pretty much it?
Yeah. Yeah. It was a weird situation for sure. Like I was like, Matt, I got to test your sugar. He didn't want me to. He knew something was up. And then anyways, I finally tested it, and I should have brought up the chart actually, but here, like, I know our numbers are different, but here, it was around 18 when he checked it at my house. And I just had said, like, tomorrow morning, you're off to the hospital. Anyway, so they came back with him, type 2, he's older, late 30s. He is actually a type 1 now. But I mean, what you would probably refer to as like a LADA.
Yeah, for a while, probably. How long do you think it went on for with him?
I would say probably a couple years. But it was last summer. He just looked bad. And, this like common symptoms, drinking a ton, peeing a lot, losing weight, all that stuff. But now he's actually on Ozempic and on insulin. So he's on both.
Okay. Like, did you find yourself saying to him, hey man, you seem like you have diabetes? And he's like, nah, or how did that go?
It didn't go great. He wouldn't let me prick his finger. He was like, give me a month. I'm going to diet and exercise. I'm going to lose some weight. My sugar will be good after that. And I was like, well, unfortunately, you cannot diet this away or work out to like, this is something that I think that you have. Anyway, so I didn't let him come to my house. And my house is kind of like the gathering house where everyone comes. This is like, all the family dinners, gatherings, all that stuff. So I was like, you're not coming over until I can prick your finger. He couldn't get away from it because my kids' birthdays came up and they're actually 24 hours apart. So we were celebrating them together. And I said, Matt, in the room, let's go prick your finger. Anyways, it was about a month. He didn't come to my house though, because he really didn't want to prick his finger.
You're his big sister, I guess?
No, I'm not. I'm
really?
his little sister. There's three of us. Yeah.
You just pushed him around. Also, it seems like I don't know another word here, but it seems like you get horny every 8 years at the exact same time. Yeah. Is that what happens?
Exactly. Yeah, that's the only time. 8 years.
Like, did your husband hear a bell go off in the room? You were like, oh, it's time again? Your kids are 24 hours apart?
I know. Isn't that crazy? It's crazy. 8 years with their age, yeah, and then 24 hours apart. It's wild.
That's insane.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So it's weird to like pivot from your sex life back to when you were 13, but what am I going to do? You were 13 when you were diagnosed. Do you remember how it presented for you?
Yeah, I do for sure. Yeah. Yeah. It was around Easter. Yeah. I actually was in a production for Easter at my church. And so we had, like our costumes kind of before, like a couple months or two before this. And I had like put my costume on for it. And I was like, oh, like, this is great. I'm losing weight. Like I felt great about myself. And then that Sunday, my grandmother was like, yeah, I think we should prick her finger. I was peeing the bed. We had gone out for supper the night before. And I don't know if you've ever heard of Shirley Temple.
Sure.
Do you know what that is?
Is it ginger ale and cherry juice?
Like Sprite and cherry. Yeah. And so I think I like hammered like 3 of those the night before out at dinner. Just like pounded back like pop all the time. I was just so thirsty, right?
Mm-hmm.
Anyways, they went around the room actually before we had dinner on that Sunday and like pricked everyone else's finger because I was nervous and everyone else was normal. And then they got to me and my sugar was 32.4.
Is that around 700?
Yeah.
What is that? Hold on a second. Yeah. I have my thing here. 576. Mm-hmm. Wow. Jeez.
Yeah. So it was about a month, I think, before we caught it, is what my grandmother tells me. But yeah, she told me that we just like went back home, got some stuff and went up to the emergency room. Leading up to this, I had been asking her some questions just because it was a long time ago and I was young. And she told me that I had like lost my vision.
Wow. That's crazy.
She just said I just looked really sick and stuff. And I was hospitalized for about a week. I was in there.
Mm-hmm.
And
That's something. And she had a meter because your grandfather had type 1.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wow, geez. And you were drinking like a real Canadian, like pounding back those Shirley Temples. They probably just thought, like at first they were probably like, oh, she is Canadian, eh? But no, no. You were just thirsty because you were dying. Okay.
Oh, yeah. And I do remember too, like I would have been like grade 8. And I remember sitting in class and like the teacher wouldn't let me go pee at times. And I would remember just being in so much pain, being like, I have to pee. And there's like tears streaming down my face. And I'm like, I have to pee now. And like, she just wouldn't let me go because it was during class. And I just like had to get up. I was like, I'm in so much pain. I got to get up. I got to go to the bathroom.
Is this where you learned how to manipulate your brother? Maybe from that teacher.
Yeah. Yeah.
You're like, I'll just force you into it. It'll be fine.
I'll just force you. Yeah, for sure.
So 20 some years ago, Canada, definitely regular in MPH, right?
Yeah, I had to roll my insulin.
You're doing the cloudy clear whole thing, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. And I took I didn't go on pens until about a month after. I was just using like the syringe to obviously draw it up and inject it.
You moved to a pen that quickly?
Yeah, about a month after.
Okay. And then
my grandmother was really pushy.
Oh, she was helping you.
Oh, yeah.
Does your province have what you would call more up-to-date diabetes care, or is it one of the ones that doesn't? Because it varies pretty greatly across Canada. 2025 is almost 2 months old. How are you doing with your resolution? Are you drinking AG1 every day? Most resolutions are hard to maintain, but I find that drinking AG1 is one of the easiest things that I can do for my health. My morning ritual that includes AG1 gives me nutritional supplements that support my immune system and my entire day. I find that AG1 is perfect for supporting my health and longevity goals. And it's easy to drink because it tastes good. This episode of the podcast is sponsored by AG1. So this year, try AG1 for yourself. It's a perfect time to start a new healthy habit. And that's why I've been partnering with AG1 for so long. AG1 is offering new subscribers a free $76 gift when you sign up. You'll get a welcome kit, a bottle of D3K2, and 5 free travel packs in your first box. So make sure to check out drinkag1.com/juicebox to get this offer. That's drinkag1.com/juicebox. The Dexcom G7 is sponsoring this episode of the Juicebox Podcast, and it features a lightning fast 30-minute warm-up time. That's right. From the time you put on the Dexcom G7 till the time you're getting readings, 30 minutes. That's pretty great. It also has a 12-hour grace period, so you can swap your sensor when it's convenient for you. All of that on top of it being small, accurate, incredibly wearable, and light. These things, in my opinion, make the Dexcom G7 a no-brainer. The Dexcom G7 comes with way more than just this. Up to 10 people can follow you. You can use it with type 1, type 2, or gestational diabetes. It's covered by all sorts of insurances. And this might be the best part. It might be the best part. Alerts and alarms that are customizable so that you can be alerted at the levels that make sense to you. Dexcom.com/juicebox. Links in the show notes. Links at juiceboxpodcast.com to Dexcom and all the sponsors. When you use my links, you're supporting the production of the podcast and helping to keep it free and plentiful. Today's episode of the Juicebox Podcast is sponsored by Omnipod. And before I tell you about Omnipod, the device, I'd like to tell you about Omnipod, the company. I approached Omnipod in 2015 and asked them to buy an ad on a podcast that I hadn't even begun to make yet. Because the podcast didn't have any listeners, all I could promise them was that I was going to try to help people living with type 1 diabetes. And that was enough for Omnipod. They bought their first ad, and I used that money to support myself while I was growing the Juicebox Podcast. You might even say that Omnipod is the firm foundation of the Juicebox Podcast. And it's actually the firm foundation of how my daughter manages her type 1 diabetes every day. Omnipod.com/juicebox. Whether you want the Omnipod 5 or the Omnipod DASH, using my link lets Omnipod know what a good decision they made in 2015 and continue to make to this day. Omnipod is easy to use, easy to fill, easy to wear. And I know that because my daughter has been wearing one every day since she was 4 years old, and she will be 20 this year. There is not enough time in an ad for me to tell you everything that I know about Omnipod, but please take a look. Omnipod.com/juicebox. I think Omnipod could be a good friend to you, just like it has been to my daughter and my family.
Well, I'm in New Brunswick. Mm-hmm. I don't have too much to say about
too much good to say or too much bad to say?
I don't have too much good to say.
Okay.
I don't know what other places are like. I mean, here right now, currently, I would say I have great support with the diabetes clinic here. Mm-hmm. My endo currently is in a different city about an hour away. Here where I am, I actually have no idea. I've been on the wait list here since I had my daughter in 2020. But my brother actually just got into the endo here. And I was like, I've been waiting 4 years.
Wait, you're on a wait list to see an endo for 4 years? Mm-hmm. Explain that to me. Like, you haven't seen a doctor in 4 years, or you're trying to switch?
Well, just after you turn 18 here, you kind of just, like, you move on from the pediatrics. Sure. And then you're kind of on your own. I didn't really follow it too closely. Like, I took care of myself, but I didn't really follow up with doctors a lot, like until I was pregnant when I was 21. Mm-hmm. And then even then after that, I didn't really follow. So the endo that was here had passed away. So then they had to shift everyone around. And then I just got a hold of someone, referred from, I guess, you know what, the first referral did take 2 years to get into him. And then we kind of drifted apart in 2020, didn't really see him or talk to him. And I actually just reached back out this past July. I thought I was having some thyroid issues on the go. And anyways, yeah. So, I mean, if I have to see him, I guess I can call him, but
Wait, tell me just about that. You thought you were having a thyroid issue. You reached out to the doctor. They get back to you and you get an appointment, or how long does that take, for example?
It was just over the phone. And I think I only had to wait 2 or 3 weeks for his phone call.
So you called them 3 weeks later. He calls back. Do you go get a blood test, or what happens?
Yep. He said in about a week, hospital called. I went for blood work and had the results back. I'd say, within like a week and a half.
Okay. So this whole process from phone call to blood test results is 4 or 5 weeks.
Yep.
I just want to say, for Americans that find themselves complaining about healthcare systems, if I called my doctor today and said, hey, I think I'm having trouble with my thyroid, would you mind if I got a blood test? He'd go, that's fine. And then he'd write me a script, email it to me. I'd drive up the street, get my blood drawn, and I'd have the results tomorrow morning.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay, so it's not the best here then.
No. I mean, if you're waiting 5 weeks for blood test results, that's not gold standard. And I don't think what we're doing here is gold standard. Don't get me wrong, but there's a lot of time built into that. And if you're, it's tough because if your symptoms are something that they're like, oh, you'll be fine, but you really won't be. I don't know. I just hear a lot of stories from from your big frozen ice shelf, and it sounds like it's not great.
Yeah. No. Should we move? Maybe we should move.
I don't know. You're pretty Canadian. I think if you went somewhere else, they'd know and kick you out immediately, don't you think?
It's funny. Yeah, no, they definitely know that I'm Canadian for sure. I get that if I travel.
Oh, I'm hoping you do something during this hour that you feel like you want to apologize for, because you apologized to me before we started recording, and your sorry was so sorry. It was just lovely. I can't wait for that to come out. Tell me why you just started pumping last year, insulin pumping?
Oh, yes. Okay. So I started pumping it would have been 2 years in February 2025 will be 2 years.
Okay. Lauren, can I stop you for a second?
Yeah.
You're so lovely. It doesn't matter how long ago. It was recently, right?
Okay. It was recently.
You just did that thing that my uncle used to do. You'd be like, oh, we went for a ride. It was a 1958 Ford. Wait a minute. No, it was a 57. Was it a Ford or I think it was a 1954 Dodge pickup truck. And then you listen to his whole story. It's got nothing to do with the truck.
I mean,
that was great.
I love a timeline. A timeline's always great.
But more recently, you started pumping. I'm wondering how you, was that on purpose? 20 years not pumping?
Right. Yeah, it was about 20 years. So, yeah, things changed drastically after I had my daughter. My insulin needs doubled. And I don't know. It got to the point that I was hovering in the 20s all the time. And that's not normal for me. I live healthy lifestyle. I was like, why is it always around 15 to 20? I could barely get it. I was taking more insulin, and I was like, all right. I think I've had about a year of a diabetes burnout. I didn't care. And actually, what's funny is when I got set up with the pump, she explains it all to you. And then she goes, you got to pre-bolus your meals. And I was like, what's that mean? I had no idea. So for 20 years of having diabetes, I never pre-bolus my entire life because no one ever told me to do that.
Okay. So you were using pens for 20 years. And then something happens after you have your second kid, your insulin needs to go up. Did you gain weight?
No, I actually only gained weight this past year. And that's what had led me to get my thyroid checked out.
I see. Okay. And your thyroid was okay, or what was your TSH when they looked?
My TSH, I had it right here.
I like that you're prepared, but not so prepared that you know where it is.
I know. Well, it's all online now, which is nice. Thyroid. Okay, right here. No, that's Well, my TSH was 1 point something, but they did take. Look, I'm obviously not that prepared.
But they didn't end up giving you any medication, right?
No, they didn't.
No, I mean, your TSH is good.
It is good, but my T3 was low.
Okay. Did they give you Cytomel?
I haven't talked to the endo since I got that test done.
How long ago did you get the test back?
July.
Is it you haven't talked to them because you haven't called back or because you're waiting for them?
I guess I didn't call back. My family doctor said that it was fine.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I mean, it seems like that might not be your issue.
Right.
But you're having more insulin resistance and are you having other symptoms, other like things that you see? Like what made you think thyroid?
Yeah, I was extremely tired, falling asleep behind the wheel, just no energy, the weight gain. I was having really bad acne even. I felt like there was just something going on.
Yeah.
So I actually had reached out to a naturopath and I've been working with him for a while.
Okay. Are you looking at like hormonal stuff, like more PCOS related?
Yeah. Well, no, she didn't test me for PCOS. I just came off birth control a year ago. And so so there was, I think that messed with my hormones a bit. So my T3 free or whatnot is 3.4. Yeah. And then the TSH was like 1.07.
You came off birth control. Has it been 8 years again? Are you ready?
It's time.
Like, is it time? Did you get like a notification? You're like, uh-oh, I got to make another baby.
I'm like, geez, 34. I don't know. I don't want to do that again. I started fresh again already. Like I was just out. I was almost free. And then I was like, okay, let's have a baby.
I was almost free.
Yeah, I was.
Your management moved like through pens. Like what was your A1C through those 20 years?
I had just reached out to the hospital here to get all of my history since 2003. And it's literally coming in the mail tomorrow. So It didn't come in on time. But I had looked back through the history online a little bit, not a ton, but I noticed some of my A1Cs were into the sevens, like 7.2, 7.5. My highest that got me onto the pump when my doctor called and told me it was 7.8. And that was like one of the highest I've had in a long time.
Yeah, it just does really sound like your insulin needs went up significantly. Yeah,
exactly. But my A1Cs before 2019, they were good. Like they were like 5 point. Sometimes there was 5.5, 5.9.
Yeah,
they were great.
Were you wearing a CGM during that time at all?
Nope, I didn't get a CGM until 2019.
Okay, so you don't know about your variability if you were like staying steady or anything like that?
No, I can really tell. Like I am good at guessing. Like if I didn't have a CGM on and someone was like, "What's your blood sugar right now?" I could probably pretty much pinpoint it.
No, Lauren, I don't think that's a thing. But because then what would you need the CGM for?
No, I just mean based on feelings, right? Like if I'm like, okay, like, you know, you can start feeling your highs and lows and I can catch it.
Oh, so if you're dizzy or foggy, you know that.
Well, yes, but I feel the low quite early around like a 4.9 even. Like I'll start getting a little symptom.
Okay.
You know?
Okay, so you feel your symptoms.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Okay. All right. Lauren, you see what I'm saying though, right? Like I couldn't say to you, like if your blood sugar was like 5.3, I couldn't say to you, what's your blood sugar right now? If it wasn't falling, you'd have no idea. You'd just be like, well, I'm not.
Right. Yeah. I could
Okay.
just like take a rough guess, but I mean, I just mean like a lot of times, like I can kind of feel where I'm at if I didn't, have it. I wouldn't know direction and stuff like that.
No, of course, but that would be amazing, wouldn't it?
Yeah. I mean, it would be great.
I'm just pointing it out for people who are listening whose kids are like, I don't need a CGM. I can feel my blood. You don't know if you're vacillating. You don't know. Like you can feel yourself falling at lower numbers and you know when you're higher because what do you feel? Nauseous or how do you feel when you're higher?
Oh, just a bitch. Yeah.
You feel like a bitch?
Oh, yeah. Yes.
I wasn't sure if you were saying that your blood sugar was a bitch or you were. I couldn't tell.
No, I mean both. Okay. I can get quite bitchy when it gets high for sure. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
But in between bitchy and dizzy, you're not really sure what's going on. Okay. All right.
Right. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I'm like, oh, okay. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. To see what it is. Yeah.
Okay. What CGM are you wearing now? I mean, you're in Canada. Dexcom G6?
Yeah. G6 and Tandem.
Okay. Are you using Control IQ like the T-Slim?
Yep.
How do you like that?
I love it. Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah, it's great.
I'm looking at your list of things you wrote down here. You said you're self-diagnosed ADHD?
Oh my goodness. Probably, yes. I just don't want to get diagnosed. It costs too much money.
Well, it'd also take 9 months for you to see the doctor, but Neither here nor there. What makes you think you have ADHD?
Well, probably the hyper part of it. I cut people off a lot. Like I'll get this thought in my head and then I'm like, if you're talking to me, I'm trying really hard while you're talking to not cut you off and tell you like, okay, speak what's in my head right now. And I just, I don't know. I never sit down, super hyperactive person. Like I need a job. I run a house cleaning business here. Mm-hmm. That job is perfect for me because I'm constantly going 8 hours a day nonstop. And then I come home and I just continue doing things. And I just sit when I go to bed.
You're like a robot. You're just like, go, stop. Well,
yeah, exactly. And I go right to sleep.
Okay. Well, and that's what threw you off about being tired during the day too. That was very uncharacteristic for you.
Mm-hmm, exactly. Yeah. So I just thought, things were off. But I had done a food sensitivity test about 2 months ago, cut out some foods, and my energy levels have been totally back to normal and not falling asleep behind the wheel at 4:00 in the afternoon. And I just feel so much better.
That's interesting. So what did you find out that you had a sensitivity to?
Eggs. And I think that's probably common for a lot of people. Eggs, like wheat, like gluten. So I would actually like to get tested for celiac. My grandmother had celiac. And I just notice now if I do eat like a bread or whatnot, my stomach will hurt right away, pretty instant. So, I mean, I eat a pretty low carb diet anyways. I don't eat a lot of bread. But if I was, to have a sweet treat, it would hurt right away.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Yeah. Oh, and dairy.
The bread definitely hits you though. And dairy too?
Oh, yes. I live in a bubble. I can't eat anything but apples, I guess. I don't know. It's
apples.
Yeah. I just picked something, but no, I mean, it's definitely helped a lot. And yeah, it's been great.
Okay. Well, I'm glad you figured something out. And you went to a shaman, you said? Or what'd you say?
Yes. Yeah.
Just you found an igloo in the middle of nowhere and walked in and said, I get tired, and they ran with some smoke around you on some leaves, and they said, stop eating wheat. Is that about it?
Yeah. Yes, that's exactly how it went. And he said, here's a couple of supplements and send you on your way. And yep.
How close is the next nearest home to yours, like in kilometers?
Well, I am outside of city limits. We're in the country life of it. I guess,
you're pretty far.
I see trees right now.
I gotcha.
Yep.
And bears? Do you see bears?
We definitely do. Yeah. We get bears here trying to take our garbage can often. He just marches over. He'll open up the garbage can and go in, take the bag out, take it across the street.
Why not sit there and use it right there?
Yeah, we see it all out here.
That's interesting. I have more questions, but you do jump around. Like I was interviewing somebody the other day for something, that's not the show. And I said, it's so interesting. Sometimes you ask people a question and they answer you. And sometimes you ask people a question and they sing song. They start talking, then they stop, and then they go in a different direction. It almost feels like they're swinging back and forth. And when they're done, you kind of have their answer. And like you do, like in conversational, you understand what they're talking about. But it's not as easy as, hey, Lauren, what's your favorite color? Oh, Scott, I love blue because I think it makes me feel calm. Like it's like, hey, Lauren, what's your favorite color? And you go, I have a bedroom and we once painted it green. And I did not like the way it was. And I went through a lot of different colors and eventually I landed on blue. And it turns out I really like blue. Like, you know what I mean? Like and that was even pretty direct for how some people speak. Mm-hmm. And so it's interesting. It's fun. It's just different. Like it is tiring though. Mm-hmm. Like I feel like I'm working a little bit talking.
Oh. Yeah.
Yeah. Right. Because usually I don't feel like I'm working when I do this. I just feel like I'm chatting. But
I'm so sorry.
Finally. Say it again. What are you? What are you? Stop laughing.
Well, I don't want you to
really enunciate.
I don't want you to feel. I'm so sorry. I don't want you to be working.
I just wanted you to feel sorry. That's all. No, I'm fine. Don't worry about it.
So funny.
Please explain to me, your husband is obsessed with me?
Oh my goodness. He listens to every single podcast. He loves this so much. Like if anything, he's probably like jealous that he's at work and I'm sitting here talking to you. He wishes he was here.
Why? Is he trying to learn about diabetes to help you?
Yes. But he also wants to know about it because he's scared that our daughter is going to get it.
Oh, okay.
So he wants to know as much about it.
Well, he's a good dad.
Yeah, what a great dad. Yeah, he can be quite annoying sometimes, though, when he's telling me my sugar's high when I already know it's high. Or if I want another bite of a cupcake, it's,
It's annoying when my husband loves me. I don't like it.
Yeah. Stop loving me so much.
What do you care about my health? Shut up. How does it go? Like if your blood sugar is is he following you on a CGM, for example?
Yes, he follows me.
Okay. And so look at you. You got so serious. So, okay. So
yes, I don't love it.
So is he texting you the first time where's your high alarm?
High alarm would be around 11 to 12.
Okay. And if it goes off, also, I'd like to see that high alarm come down a little bit if I could. Is there a reason we couldn't have it go off more at like an 8, maybe?
Well, sure. They had it set on when I first got set up with the pump at like 14.
Yeah.
And I was like,
that's not very valuable knowing once you're, what is that? 14 is over 300 or 250. So,
yeah, exactly.
So I like that you brought it down, bring it down more. My point here is it beeps once, he texts you right away, or he texts you after it's beeped at him 5 times. Like, do you know what I mean? Like, when do you hear from him?
He does not text me when my sugar is high because that's when I turn into a bitch, remember? And I don't want him to do that, but he will contact me if my sugar's low.
Okay. For how long?
He'll probably get like 2 beeps and then be like, okay, I should make sure she's alive.
And you don't like that?
No, that's fine. That's fine. Yep. I'm okay with that.
Look at you. You're like, people are listening. I want to sound reasonable, but it's okay. Are you normally handling it when he texts you?
Yes. Yeah. Yeah. There was one time recently, though, I did send him my location. I sent him the location and he started getting the beeps. And then he called and I was like, I don't know what was happening. So I was just hammering those Dex tablets into me. Yeah, it finally went back up. But yeah, it was like straight arrow down at like 2.1 or something.
Did you text him your location because you thought like, well, they'll be able to find my body later? Is that what you were doing?
Yes, exactly. Yeah.
I don't want the kids to wonder if I was eaten by a bear. So let me just let everybody know where they'll find my corpse. What happened that you were falling so fast, do you think?
I don't know. I think I might have where my job's so active. Mm-hmm. I think I had taken a correction and I didn't need to.
Okay. And then you kept working and you dropped really quickly.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah.
And you just went with like dextrose tablets or something like that to get you back up?
Yeah. I mean, those were pretty quick for me. Like I could be at, 2.4 and I take one tablet and then it starts going back up.
Those are your go-to.
Yeah.
You carry other stuff with you?
Nope.
No, just those tablets. You don't have like a couple juice boxes in your car door or like anything like that?
No, I get that. I don't know if you've heard of this, but like I don't like eating a lot when my sugar's low and I get that like rocky feeling in my gut. Like I don't feel good. Mm-hmm. So I feel like I don't want to get sick. There's been times where I have eaten because my sugar was really low and then I get really nauseous and then that gives me a little bit of anxiety. So if I just stick to the tablet, wait the 10 minutes and I'm good to go.
You're worried you'll vomit and then you'll be in a worse position.
Oh, definitely. Okay. Yes. Okay. I have a big fear of puking.
Gotcha. A big fear of puking.
Oh, yes.
I want to get back to just for a second, me, but your husband enjoys the podcast outside of it being about diabetes? Or
yeah, he does.
Oh,
yeah. He laughs all the time. He loves it.
Oh, I'm glad. This is awesome. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Mm-hmm. I got a great review the other day that somebody said, by the way, whoever wrote this, thank you, made my day, said that listening to this podcast ruined other podcasts for them because they realized how bad other hosts were at their job. And it made me feel good.
Yeah, it's true.
Thank you. Mm-hmm. I appreciate that very much. Mm-hmm. You're afraid of insulin? Is that true?
Probably a year ago. Yeah, I was. Like if I have 5-6 units of insulin on board, that's a lot for me. Mm-hmm. So I just don't have a lot of insulin on board usually.
Okay. And did that have something to do, do you think, with when your insulin needs went up, your blood sugars were higher? Is it because you were afraid to give yourself more?
Yes, because I wasn't used to it.
Right. So then the big question here seems to be, your brother got given insulin and Ozempic right away for being type 1.
Well, actually, no, sorry. They gave him Wegovy with no insulin. And it was during Thanksgiving last year.
Right.
And he was here on the weekend. And I said, do you want to eat food? And he was like, yeah. And I said, well, you're going to have to take some of my insulin. Like his sugar was 19 and he wanted to eat food. And I said, okay, take a couple doses of insulin. Like it's not going to, you're fine. Yeah, you're fine.
Let me pick through this for a second. So is he or was he overweight?
Yeah. I mean, he's a bigger guy.
This is interesting.
I wouldn't say he's huge.
How tall is he?
I wish he was here. He left 6'2".
He's over 6 feet tall. And what do you think he weighs?
Yeah. He's about 250, 240.
204 pounds?
Yeah.
Right. Okay. And I mean, I don't think you're supposed to, I mean, is he, I don't know how to say this. This is weird. We're talking about another person, but I have a reason for asking it. Like, does he have fat collections? His stomach, his back do you look at him?
He's got a weird body. He's got a big, broad shoulders, like big upper body and very small low body, and then carries the weight stomach, I would say.
Like Bluto from the Popeye.
Definitely. Yeah.
Okay. Boy, there's one.
Yeah.
I was interviewing a guy the other day. He goes, I don't get a lot of your references, man. And I was like, it's all right. You'll figure it out. I wish this was more about him so we could call this episode Weird Body, because that was really interesting what he just said. But okay, so there's weight to lose. So at some point, someone thought he had type 2 diabetes and gave him Wegovy. Is that what happened?
Yeah. When he went into the hospital, he left the hospital with nothing but basically blood work and to contact his doctor on Monday.
Okay.
And then he did, and she gave him Wegovy and no insulin. And then, it was that weekend. And I said, well, you need to take a couple doses of insulin. Mm-hmm. And then his doctor wouldn't give him the insulin because she was like, you're not type 1. And I said, well, screw her. You are. And then, so then I said, you go to the doctor the next day, tell her that you took my insulin and she'll write you a prescription for insulin. So she was livid that Matt took some of my insulin.
Okay.
And she was so mad about it.
But did she give him a script for insulin?
Yes, that day.
Okay, you are good at pushing people into doing things.
Oh, yes.
I need something. I'm calling you.
Yes, definitely. Give me a call.
Yeah, Lauren will take care of it.
Oh, yeah.
She'll get it done.
Well.
But the doctor left him on the Wegovy, so she must have thought he had weight to lose.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I think he was about 230 when he got diagnosed, and then when he got put on the insulin, he did gain about 20 pounds.
Okay, so he went up to 250. Has he lost weight since then, do you think?
He's been on and off of Ozempic for the past few months. So I don't know.
Well, I wonder why he stops taking it. To eat?
It's not covered, and they won't give it to him covered through insurance unless his A1C is over 7.
They're making him pay for it with his loonies?
Yes.
Oh my God. How many loonies is it to a Ozempic? Got to be a lot.
I believe it's around $230, $250 a month.
Yeah. So he's taking it when he can afford it. So he must notice it's helping him, or he wouldn't go back to paying for it again, I would imagine.
It's crazy. Like I track him on my phone, and when he is not on Ozempic, he roller coasters all day, up and down, up and down. Mm-hmm. And then when I can tell when he takes the Ozempic, and he's straight line, pretty flat all day.
Yeah, it works like that for Arden too. I have to admit, she doesn't use
wild. I tried to get it.
Yeah, I was going to say Arden doesn't use Ozempic. She uses Manjaro. I don't know how to say it, but like whatever. Man, it's a stark difference, I have to say, especially when she's eating that crappy college food. Mm-hmm. Like if she was home eating here and on Manjaro, oh my gosh, her blood sugar would be nearly perfect. It would probably just be like a straight line around 80 or 90 most of the time, with like a blip to 140 if she ate.
Right.
It's crazy how well it works at that. I mean, you eat less too, obviously, but it just, the way it slows your digestion down really changes things. By the way, this is why I brought all this up, because I was going to ask you if you were thinking of trying to get it as well, because I figured your doctor was prescribed it to your brother, they'd prescribe it to you, and I figured it was covered by healthcare. But so you asked about it, and what happened?
Well, we don't have the same doctor, but yeah, I did ask about it. She wanted me to go to my endo. So I didn't ask my endo first. I asked my family doctor. And then she said, yeah, go to the endo. So I haven't reached out to him, but she thinks that I wouldn't get approved for it because, like, I guess I could get the prescription and take it and pay out of pocket like he's doing, but to get it covered through our healthcare, I wouldn't qualify for it because my A1C is not high enough and I'm not overweight.
So you're not overweight, but you do think you have insulin resistance, and right? It would probably really help you too.
I know.
Yeah. It's interesting.
Maybe I should just be really shitty for a couple months and get the A1C up.
No, Lauren, let's not do that. But I mean, I don't think it's covered for type 1s no matter what your A1C is. It isn't here. Is it there in the Canidia? Like, hold on a second. I don't know how to figure that out. I mean, how would we figure that out?
What I keep hearing around here is that it depends on your insurance. And I think it's a little bit of a fight.
Maybe it's worth having the fight. I'm seeing if the internet knows about Canada and GLPs. GLP primarily approved for type 2s and weight management, but they are not officially indicated for type 1. I know that. That said, they're sometimes used off-label. I know this too. Coverage for GLP medications under Canada's healthcare system can be varied depending on the province. And individual health plans, in some cases, these drugs may be covered for people with cardiovascular issues or obesity. I would wonder if you went to the doctor and said, hey, like, look, I've had this massive increase in insulin resistance. If I was type 2 and my insulin resistance went up like this, you'd give me this GLP in 2 seconds. Like, is there a way around this? So can we look into it? That'd be my question.
Yeah, she did seem to have an issue prescribing Wegovy for me because she was like, I can give you this as a weight loss drug, but I'm not sure.
You didn't have weight to lose, but you qualified for that?
Well, I could, because I had told her I had gained some weight. I did recently lose some of that just on my own, but for a while it was kind of just hovering there, and I couldn't get it, couldn't get rid of it. And then so I spoke to her and told her this, and she was like, well, I could give you Wegovy for a weight loss, but I can't for some reason give you Ozempic for type 1. I don't know.
Wegovy and Ozempic are the same drug. So why did you stop the Wegovy then?
Well, we kind of stopped the conversation there, and she wants me to go to the endo.
Oh, I would just ask for the Wegovy if I was you.
She's just a phone call away. Maybe I'll have to give her a call.
Yeah, you guys have all kinds of technology in Canada, from what I understand.
Yeah. We've got lots.
Yeah. Do you have first strike capability? Any nukes over there? I don't know about you guys. Are you able to do that?
I don't even know. I mean, I know that we have a base next to us. I'm not sure what they have over there.
Just a bunch of Mounties, maybe.
Yeah.
Like guys, it's just guys on horses and red coats. Yeah. But it's funny. I never thought about that. Let's find out real quick. Does Canada have nukes? Just checking here. I've never. You do not possess nuclear weapons. Good for you.
No, we're safe over here. Yeah.
Oh yeah. Okay. I didn't know if I needed to be worried or not.
No, don't be worried. And you know what? This is off topic, but I tried to watch this movie that you talked about for Canadians to watch before I came on here. And I just lost track of time, and I can't remember the name of it, but I was like, I tell my husband I should watch that before we
Brew?
speak. Yes.
My God, I can't. I mean, it's like one movie you guys made and nobody's watching it.
I got too into Love is Blind, and then I forgot to watch it.
Love is Blind? Which one's that?
On Netflix.
Oh, is it? What is it about? Oh my God, it's in season 7?
You're right. Yeah. You should watch it. It's super good.
Oh, first of all, there's no chance I'm going to watch that, just so you know. But like, this is the one where they get married, right?
Yes. Oh, yes. I love reality TV.
Oh, what a bunch of nudniks. Oh, so they get on like a reality TV show and then they marry each other, like after knowing each other for how long?
Oh, my word. A month, maybe.
Oh, what a plan.
Yeah, I know. I know. And there's actually still some couples together.
Are there really?
Mm-hmm.
Oh my God. I'd love to meet those people.
Me too.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. I don't want to watch the show, but I'd love to meet the people who got married on a reality show and are still married.
Me too.
Well, listen, here's what I got here. Marissa and Ramses. Is a spoiler if I say this?
No, last episode already aired this week.
All right. Well, they're broken up.
Yes, they are. Yeah, that's a good thing.
Ashley and Tyler are married.
Yes.
Taylor and Garrett are married.
Yeah.
This is ridiculous. Okay, I'm going to stop now. It's making me upset.
I'm surprised your daughter doesn't watch it. She's not into shows like that.
I don't know. She's so busy at school. And she used to love Big Brother, but I don't think she loves that as much any longer.
Right. Yeah.
I think that kind of wore out for her. I mean, I watched Survivor back in the day, but I haven't seen it in a long time.
Mm-hmm. Same. Yeah.
Survivor's great because it's like, wow, this is actually how life goes. Like people like get together in groups and then they attack other groups.
Yeah.
And then once they've dominated the other group, they attack each other until one's left.
Yeah.
People.
Yeah.
It's awesome.
Yeah. And that must be on season 30. Like that's been out for, I don't even know.
Oh my God. Jeff Probst has had like many different facelifts. Yeah. It's been a while now.
Yeah.
Maybe he'll be our next president. I'm just kidding. He hosts a reality show.
Who your next
He hosts a reality show.
Soon you're going to find out. Yeah.
I think that qualifies him.
Yeah.
Anyway. All right. So what else have we not talked about here? Let's see at your list. Your grandfather passed from a massive heart attack. Was it obviously type 1 related?
I mean, I think so. He was diagnosed early 20s and passed away at 80. I mean, back then, right, he was on 1 injection a day. Mm-hmm. He was always set in his ways. He never changed, never went to pens or anything.
Your grandfather rode like regular NPH for 60 years?
He took one kind of insulin once a day.
He's an OG baller.
Yeah.
How long ago did he pass away?
2013.
No kidding.
Mm-hmm.
Wow. How much longer did your grandmother live, or is she still alive?
She's still here.
She's in her 90s?
She'll be 90 next year.
God damn. That's awesome.
Yeah, that's my last grandparent. I had both my other set of grandparents just died recently, like a year ago. Nanny was a celiac and she had type 2 diabetes. Mm-hmm. And my grandfather had cancer, but he didn't, I don't even know. I don't know what, he just died.
You guys,
I don't know.
He just looked up and he went, that's enough.
I was like, oh, okay. What did he die of? I don't know.
Does your whole family live out in the trees? No offense. Like in the woods?
No.
Okay.
No, they complain that I'm 20 minutes from them.
Okay. So they're a little more suburban?
Yeah. And we lived in the city up until a couple of years ago.
Okay.
We just had built a house out here.
I gotcha. I understand. I mean, it sounds nice. Don't get me wrong, except for the bear. But I mean, what else is out there?
It's great.
You got like a raccoons, I imagine?
We have some raccoons for sure. Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's pretty quiet. We have a lot of 4-wheelers that go by every day, though.
Any scary cats, like bobcats or anything like that?
No. Like foxes will roam around here. Bunnies.
Okay. Bunnies and foxes seem okay to me.
Yeah.
I have to say that one year a fox had their babies in our backyard. And it was like the most lovely couple of months, like watching these baby foxes just run around the backyard. Then they just went off somewhere.
That's so cute.
Yeah, but it was really nice. I have a picture somewhere.
Wow.
I'm not going to share it with you, but I mean, I have it. I don't exactly know where it's at, but I have it somewhere.
That's so cute.
It was lovely. No, it was really like everyone was just like enamored with the little babies bouncing around out there. It was good.
Yeah.
It was good stuff. No, I have to admit, I really did enjoy that. Were your parents older when they had you?
No, they had me, I'd say 23.
Oh, okay. I don't know. My math got messed up somewhere.
Yeah, they were born in 65.
Okay. But your mom has MS?
Oh, yeah. Sorry. Yeah, I forgot. Yeah, she has MS. She does. She got diagnosed around 2012, I think.
Is it something that she struggled with her whole life and finally got a diagnosis for, or is something that came on her about 2012?
No, she got misdiagnosed so much for just like dizzy spells, vertigo, stuff like that, fibromyalgia, all that. Yeah, it was like 10 years trying to figure out what it was.
Oh, I'm sorry. What do they do for her?
Yeah. Right now, she takes an injection once every 3 months. She uses a walker. Yeah. So she just went back to work part-time. She was off for a couple of years. Mm-hmm. And yeah, so she's out there working now.
Okay. So she has an autoimmune. Your grandfather, is she, by the way, your grandfather's daughter or your grandmother's?
Not the diabetic grandfather. That's my dad.
Okay. And so your mom has an autoimmune. Your grandfather had an autoimmune. You do. Your brother does.
Mm-hmm.
Your grandmother has something, type 2, but not.
Yeah.
Okay. Oh, a celiac. Excuse me. So there's an auto.
Yeah, celiac.
That's a fair amount.
Yeah.
Yeah. How about your husband now? Does he have anything on his side of the family?
Oh, sorry. I should say that my dad has Graves' disease.
Autoimmune. Okay.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so my husband, nothing is wrong with him. And with his parents, there is, my father-in-law is a diabetic, type 2.
2. Okay. But no autoimmune like celiac, thyroid, stuff like that.
No, heart runs on his side of the family. And I know that's not autoimmune, but on both sides, actually, we've got, some bad hearts.
Yeah. I mean, your grandfather's heart's got to be from type 1. So were there other people on that side that had heart attacks?
Yep. Yeah. My dad had one and my uncle had one. They both lived through them.
Wow. Jeez.
Yep. Yeah. And then my husband's dad had open heart surgery back in 2020.
My God.
And
what are you guys eating? Yeah. What's going on up there?
Well, I mean, I don't know what's going on. I'm cooking on stainless steel pans, trying to be healthy, and
I'm glad. That's excellent. Good for you. That's a good step. You're like, I don't know. I bought stainless steel pans. These motherfuckers are still dying. I don't know.
I'm sure I don't burn candles, non-toxic stuff, and everyone's still dying. I don't know. Yeah.
I'm doing my best here. I'm doing my best.
I'm just doing my best.
Yeah, no, it's I mean, it's a lot, but you guys, I mean, but to have that issue and live to 80 is pretty awesome, actually. So I mean, that's terrific. But yeah. Would you worry about your kids? Do you think about getting them tested?
Oh, I worry about my daughter more than my son. It doesn't run on my son's dad's side of it. I do check the kids often. Like my son will hover around a 4.8 for his fasting. And then my daughter, I don't know. I can't stomach testing her sugar at the age that she's at. I just have the biggest fear with I don't know. She's a lot to handle.
Okay, let's go slow. Let's start with she's a lot to handle. What does that mean?
She's a redhead and she's so feisty. And so I have to sleep with her at night. She is so needy. And
wait, how old is she?
She's 4.
Oh,
it's.
You mean you're sleeping with her because she needs so many things you don't want to walk back and forth? Or what are you talking about?
Oh, no, she will not let you leave the room. If you're not beside her, she'll wake up and come get you.
How long has that been going on for?
Since 2020 when she was born.
No kidding. She's going to have to hurry up. You're on a baby schedule. You almost have to have a baby again. You only have a few more years.
I've only got 3.5, 4 years left until I gotta reproduce again.
She better figure this out.
Yeah.
Well, that's interesting.
So,
So what about during the day? Is she clingy during the day?
No, she's totally fine at daycare. She's a different kid, and then she comes home and yeah.
Maybe she just loves you extra.
Yes, her attitude shows for sure. She loves me the most.
Is your husband a redhead?
No.
Oh. Where'd it come from? Do you know?
Just generations back on both sides. Actually, my husband is dark complected, dark eyes, dark facial hair and hair, and I'm just blonde blue. And she's redhead. Yeah.
That's awesome. But you just said my husband's got dark facial hair and hair. And I was like, what happened? Maybe she saw that new Eminem video and she wanted to make sure I wasn't confused.
Facial hair. And then I was like, wait, he has hair too?
I mean, I just assumed all of his hair was dark. I didn't know where you were going to stop. You're going to be like, oh, his pubic hair is very dark too. It's all very dark.
Well, who would know? I sleep with my daughter every night.
Yeah, I was going to say, you're sleeping with your daughter and, you've got 4 more years. So you've got plenty of time before you have to look at that again. All right, listen, is there anything we haven't talked about that we should have? Anything that you left off that you thought was interesting for people? Why did you want to be on the podcast, by the way? What motivated you to do this?
Just for fun. I thought it would be fun to come on and have a chat. And I just listen to you every day. So I'm like, and it's interesting. You've never been to Canada. And so I'm always like, what's the holdup? Come see.
I mean, it sounds cold and there's a bear. That's one thing.
I know, and people tell you all the time, they're like, yeah, come, it's nice here. And it's nice here, sure. But like we're driving to Florida in March, and I can't wait to go see like different states.
How long is it going to take you to drive to, by the way you said Florida, how long is it going to take you to get there?
I believe it's about around 28 hours.
Oh my God.
But with the kids, it's probably going to be 32.
Oh my God. So, but you have a Rolls Royce. What are you driving? Like, how comfortable is the ride going to be? What are we talking about?
We'll use my husband's work truck.
You're going to go in oh my God. Is that going to be comfortable? See, right away, I'm such a baby. I'm like, it does not sound comfortable.
Well, it's like a Ford, like F-150 or whatever they are. They're like, nice trucks.
Yeah.
And so we'll take that, because he's got the cap, and I plan on buying a lot. So we got to have space.
What are you bringing back from Florida? Boa constrictor? What are you getting?
So many Disney Mickey ears. Who knows?
Wow.
This is the first time taking the kids. So we were like, let's just drive. It's cheaper to drive.
Yeah. What would it have cost to flown?
Yeah.
Like, I guess you got to fly 4 people 2 ways.
Mm-hmm.
You got to rent a car while you're there. That's the extra stuff. So what is that? That's a few $1,000s, I imagine, right?
Yeah, I think just the flight alone would be like $4,000.
Wow.
And but then you have to travel with the booster seats and stuff at this age, which that's annoying.
Mm-hmm.
So I just want to come and go. We're going to do like Airbnb and not stay on resort.
That's smart. Are you going to make stops? Like, it's a long trip. Have you built in other places where you think you'd like to see along the way?
Yeah, we didn't map it out fully yet. We still have some time. Yeah, we just want to hit some cool spots and seeing some, we'll drive kind of I don't know, we'll stop around 5 p.m. each day. So we'll be on the road for hotels 2 nights.
So so this is going to be almost like a 2-week trip for you when it's all said and done.
Oh yeah. I asked my husband, I was like, can we just go for 3 weeks and do Legoland too? And he was like, okay.
Oh, cool.
So, we'll just.
What's he do for a living?
He has his own company for construction or.
Okay.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yep. Yeah. So he built our house, and I don't want to give him too much credit though. Okay. Because it gets a little hard headed, and
he might want sex every 3 years. And then,
yeah. Oh yeah. He's like, so I built your house. So,
Oh, I know I know. It makes sense to me.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I've light outside of my garage isn't working. If you can stop in New Jersey on the way through and fix it, that'd be awesome.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, it's lovely. I mean, would you stop in DC, to see Washington? Would you stop in, I don't know, the Outer Banks, North Carolina as you went down? Do you have things you know what I mean?
Yeah, I am actually excited to go to North Carolina. I heard it was nice.
Mm-hmm. What do you find out? Every one of our states looks exactly the same. And
okay. Yeah,
and it doesn't look that different than Canada. You're going to be so pissed. You're going to be this looks like home. What the hell?
Yeah. Well, I mean, as long as we can stop at every Target on the way down, I'll be good.
You're a Target girl? You like the Target?
I like Target. Yeah, for sure. We had one here for a second, and then they took it away.
They took it away.
I have no idea. It was here for 6 months.
Why are there disappearing Targets in Canada?
I don't know. I don't know. They were
hell.
We're going to take, yeah.
Oh, Lauren, I'm going to call your episode Disappearing Targets.
Yes, please. Disappearing Targets. Yeah, it just left.
It's
a
little bit what it's like talking to you, because I set up a Target and then it seems like it's gone before you get to it.
I know. It's hard
fine.
to
Don't
be
worry.
in my own brain.
Is it really finish on that? What's it like to manage through a day when you're jumping around like that?
Yeah, I mean, sometimes it can be challenging, especially when everyone's kind of home. We're just the routines of the day-to-day life. I am so routine and time and if I'm 5 minutes past the time, it's putting me in a bad mood, and these voices in my head are hurry up. I don't even know how to explain it. It's so all over the place, but it really benefits me at work. I could never sit in front of a computer and do work, because as we're sitting here, both of my legs have been moving the whole time,
mm-hmm.
and I'm sitting. So then I'm okay, I got to get to work and move my body,
I'm interested if you ever go on the GLP, if that changes.
Oh, you think it'll calm me down?
I don't know. I mean, if ADHD is inflammation related and a GLP reduces your inflammation, I just wonder if I have no idea. I'm just wondering if it would help or not. It may not, but I'm interested.
Well, maybe it used to be worse when I was younger. I just smoked a lot of weed. And then I think over time, it kind of just, I don't know, mellowed me out a bit. Like this is mellow for me.
Okay.
And it used to be a lot worse.
Are you still managing with the weed?
No, I haven't. No, it's been 10 years.
Really? What made you stop? Having kids?
Yeah. And I didn't want to pay for it. I was always hanging around people who just had it all the time. And so I never paid for it. And then I was like, wait, I don't want to go search for it and pay for it. Yeah.
I almost said something so I'm sure that I would people wouldn't like, but I'm just going to say it anyway. We'll beep it out. So you stopped hanging around guys that would trade weed and then you were like, I'm not doing this anymore. Am I close, Lauren?
No, I stopped. No, it was like girlfriends too. It was a mixture of male and female hanging out, and yeah, and then I didn't want to pay for it. Sounded so bad.
Before we started recording, I only said that for your husband because I realized when he listens back, he's going to be very amused. Before we started recording, I tell people, I usually say something like, if you get really comfortable and you say something that's crazy, I'm not going to stop you. So I tell people you got to be your own guardrails while we're talking. And today I said, if you have a story about shooting heroin in your eyes, and you were just like, oh, I have stories. I was like, wait. Normally people would go, do people shoot heroin into their eyes, Scott? That sounds ridiculous. But no, you were like, no. So there's part of me that wanted to just ask you what those stories were, but I'm afraid that you have children and one day they'll find out what you said. So
yeah. Oh, for sure. And there's probably going to be so many people that listen to this that I know that, we got to keep those locked up.
You're going to keep your crazy childhood stories aside? All right.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. We'll keep those in the vault.
All right. Well, I think you should probably try weed again.
Yeah. I mean, hey, yeah, no, I mean, I know it works, right? So I did eat an edible once, and that was the worst experience of my life. So I won't ever do that, though.
Yeah. The people who smoke will tell you that the way that the edibles metabolize is just too, unknowable. Mm-hmm. So it's not really something that you can kind of manage.
No, for sure. I mean, a little bit goes a long way, and I had no idea. So I ate a full, almost a full cookie. Yeah, I had to actually call my diabetic brother and say, I'm dying. You need to come help me from the couch to the bed, and I'm going to die here.
There's that great 911 call. The guy gets on, and he's like, my wife and I tried weed, and we're dead. It's such an old, internet clip, but I love it. I just love how assured he is that he's dead, but he's calling for help. It's awesome. Mm-hmm. But no, I mean, listen, I'm not pushing drugs on you, but I mean, if it helped you in the past, and I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah. No, my husband has mentioned it to me a couple times.
Is that while you're yelling at him?
Joint or something. Yeah.
It's like, maybe you should get high and stop yelling at me.
Just be nicer.
I'm building a house. Leave me alone.
I know.
It's fine. If you didn't torture him, somebody else would. And so.
Oh, I know. He's total opposite of me too. Super quiet. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Well, he'd be so bored though if he wasn't married to me. I tell him I think he would be bored.
Oh, is that what you tell yourself?
Yeah, that's what. Yeah.
Yeah. My wife says that too. She's like, you like being challenged. I'm like, not this much.
Yeah.
Not this much. You can back off once in a while. It's okay. What if Scott had an easy day every once and again? You know what I mean? All right, Lauren.
Oh, yeah.
I like you. You. This was fun. I appreciate you doing this with me.
Well, yes. Thank you for having me on.
Was it actually fun? You said you did it for fun. Did it actually end up being fun?
This was so fun.
Oh, good.
This is so fun.
Oh, good. I'm glad. Excellent.
I would say let's do it again, but it took so long to come on. So maybe I'll see you on my journey. Yeah.
If you sign back up now, you could probably get back on in a couple of years.
Yeah.
But yeah, listen, and so that you know, I'm going to ask Rob right now, just bleep out completely so nobody knows what I said there, and let their minds fill it in, and also bleep it out just now where I said it again. So, and you could leave this part in, Rob. So there you go. I don't want your daughter hearing this one day being like, wait, what?
Yeah. Or my son too, which he probably know, he's older.
Well, I don't know, with how pushy you are, I'm assuming he'll figure that out on his own. But
yeah.
This is going off the rails. We're definitely calling this one Disappearing Targets. And
yes.
Thank you very much. I'll talk to you. Hold on 1 second for me.
Okay.
A huge thanks to Omnipod. Not just my longest sponsor, but my first one. Omnipod.com/juicebox. If you love the podcast and you love tubeless insulin pumps, this link is for you. Omnipod.com/juicebox. Today's episode of the Juicebox Podcast is sponsored by the Dexcom G7, and the Dexcom G7 warms up in just 30 minutes. Check it out now at dexcom.com/juicebox. A huge thanks to AG1 for being a longtime sponsor. Don't forget to go to drinkag1.com/juicebox to get that free special offer for Juicebox Podcast listeners. Thank you so much for listening. I'll be back very soon with another episode of the Juicebox Podcast. If you're not already subscribed or following the podcast in your favorite audio app like Spotify or Apple Podcasts, please do that now. Seriously, just to hit follow or subscribe will really help the show. If you go a little further in Apple Podcasts and set it up so that it downloads all new episodes, I'll be your best friend. And if you leave a 5-star review, I'll probably send you a Christmas card. Would you like a Christmas card? The Diabetes Variables series from the Juicebox Podcast goes over all the little things that affect your diabetes that you might not think about. From travel and exercise to hydration and even trampolines. Juiceboxpodcast.com. Go up in the menu and click on Diabetes Variables. Hey, what's up, everybody? If you've noticed that the podcast sounds better and you're thinking like, how does that happen? What you're hearing is Rob at Wrong Way Recording doing his magic to these files. So if you want him to do his magic to you, wrongwayrecording.com. You got a podcast? You want somebody to edit it? You want Rob.